Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Story to Screen podcast, the movie podcast where we review all different kinds of movies, new and old. I'm your host, Chris, and joining me for the first time by herself, and this is the first time I am hosting an episode with a woman. Abigail Ling is solo this time without her brother Joshua Ling.
Oh no, what will we do?
I don't know. This is nerve-wracking. I've never hosted a podcast with a woman before by myself. So
Don't be scared.
I am scared. Look at.
Don't be scared.
Don't you see that? My hand is shaking like a leaf. I've never done. Look, Ryan Bartley and Alicia Johnson, all fantastic girls. So I have hosted with girls before. So I know how to keep myself straight and perfect in these situations. So.
Perfect, huh?
Yeah, yes. How are you, by the way, Abigail?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. By the way, great time at the fair. I don't know if word got to you of what happened to me.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Let's not discuss that.
It's all very nasty, folks. Let's just say I was on the top. I was on the very top
Of the loop-de-loop roller coaster.
Not just the roller coaster, but the merry-go-round. And let's say certain gooey stuff came out of my ears and fell from the very top to the very bottom of the merry-go-round. That's all I had.
They had to shut down the ride, right?
Yeah, they threw me off.
I'm so sorry.
That's the second time it's happened to me at an amusement park.
Yeah, it scarred you for life the first time, and now it happened again.
It didn't bug me this time. It's like, this is so much fun. This is actually so much fun than actually going around the merry-go-round anyway. So Abigail, are you going to be watching? There's a football game going on tonight that apparently is going to air the new Star Wars trailer. Have you heard about this?
No, not at all. I've only seen the Star Wars trailers I've seen in theaters, so, I didn't know they were going to air another one.
Yes, this is the third and final one. Apparently it's going to have a little more story context, so to speak. The other ones have been more like glimpses of the character.
Of Anakin being angry at everybody.
Yeah. Anakin, he ain't in this one.
I'm talking about the other movie.
Oh. But anyway, well, actually, yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, but did you see the new poster, by the way?
No, somebody was talking about that. What's in it?
I'll send it to you right now.
Now, let me pull it up. You'll get my live reaction to it. Who? Oh, hey! There's Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill.
No, actually, no, there's no Mark Hamill on this poster.
Wait, but he's wearing the outfit.
No, that's actually another character. That's Poe Dameron, apparently. Yeah, that's been causing a lot of debate that Luke Skywalker is completely absent from this poster.
So I wonder if Luke died.
No, he's in this movie. I mean, you knew that he was in this movie, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the movie.
Is he the villain, do you think?
Oh gosh, I hope not. There was a rumor going on that he was actually a Sith Lord, something like that, but I hope that's not true. I can't say, if you didn't know, I can say that the guy in the hood, that's not Luke. That's
somebody else.
That's somebody else. I mean, just from an initial reaction, what do you think of the poster?
I mean, it looks good. I actually have not seen the Star Wars films, the original trilogy, in several years. And I haven't even seen the one with Anakin. I haven't even seen those movies, so I wouldn't say I'm a big Star Wars fan. But this is still cool because I like Harrison Ford as Han Solo. So this is awesome that he's in the movies again.
I mean, what was your reaction when you first saw him in that trailer? I mean...
Well, I had no idea that any of the people from the first movies were going to be in it. I thought it was just like some complete spin-off, like the Clone Wars shows, like all the cartoons that they've had. And suddenly I'm in this movie theater, and then Harrison Ford and Chewbacca are in the trailer. I was like, wait, he's in this movie? And my family was like, yeah, they're in, like, some of the older people are getting to be in the movie. That was really exciting for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it was so weird. Like, I don't know if you've seen, like, the celebration footage when they actually had a celebration, Star Wars celebration, I think, in California. And that's when the trailer was shown, the one with Harrison Ford. And when he shows up for the first time and you hear him speak, audiences were just yelled. Like, this was the first time in over 30 years that they've seen Harrison Ford, back in a Star Wars movie. So I think just that alone is exciting,
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Now, I gotta ask you about this. If you look behind Daisy Ridley's character, like to the top right, there's this globe thing. Do you see that?
Kind of. Are you talking about, like, the, it looks like the Death Star? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. What do you think of that? What do you think that is?
It looks like a spaceship that's gonna be a plot device in the movie.
Okay.
Is that good enough?
No, well, I guess my biggest question is, are they retreading old ground that's been done before, if that makes any sense?
I think it's a callback to the original Star Wars movies. I think that's just like, maybe it's just on the poster. It's just like a callback to the original movies. I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
like a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping. This has been my biggest problem with this new Star Wars film. It's just from some stuff that I've heard. I'm just afraid that, and maybe this is going to be a little hard for you because you haven't really seen the original ones a whole lot, or you haven't seen them in such a while. I think my biggest fear is that they're going to retread old ground that's been kind of done before. Like, my biggest fear with this movie is that this movie is just basically going to be a redone edition of A New Hope, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if you would think that's a good or bad thing.
I mean, I think it would be interesting enough just because, like, I really liked A New Hope. So it's not like I'll be like, oh, same old, like, I want all this new stuff with Star Wars people, because I'm not that attached to the Star Wars franchise, but I guess I can see where you're coming from, like, with all the nostalgia with Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and everybody being back in these movies, there's gonna be some callbacks that might seem a little, like, you know what I'm saying, like, unneeded.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting some homages, don't get me wrong. My problem is with the plot. Is it going to retread old ground? Are we going to say like the same kind of plot structure that A New Hope was, and it's just going to feel like, wait a minute, you're not doing an original Star Wars movie. You're kind of doing something what Superman Returns was. You know what I mean? Because Superman Returns is in many ways just a complete ripoff of the very first Christopher Reeve Superman movie, for example. There's so many other examples out there, but, I guess that's kind of one of my biggest, just my biggest fears. But anyway, I'm still expecting a solid action movie, to say the least. I mean... Oh, yeah,
with Disney, like, on board with all the Marvel stuff they've been doing, they're gonna want this to be a good film, I think.
Yeah. And I have confidence in I think the most I have confidence with Abrams is that he's going to deliver on a solid action film.
So if nothing else, you'll get good action, right?
I hope so. I mean, he does, as much as he hates the prequels, and my inside sources do tell me that he absolutely despises the prequels. I mean, he still has a lot to live up to with those action scenes from the prequels. I mean, that's, you remember some of the action scenes, right, in the prequels. I mean, they are, like, some of the best.
I remember one very vividly from when I was a little younger, one that was like Padme and Anakin in a ring, like fighting something.
Okay. Yeah, if you remember the lightsaber fights in the prequels.
Oh yeah, those were always really cool.
Yeah, like the one in Revenge of the Sith, or even Phantom Menace for that matter. I mean, they're incredible, to say the least. So, but anyway,
hopefully it'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it will be, but we'll see what happens.
But there's no Jar Jar in this movie, right?
No.
Okay, so it's going to be way better than the prequels already.
Yes. And no Hayden, No Natalie Portman, none of that stuff. So,
Oh, please, no.
no, it just looks like they're genuine actors being directed by a genuine actor's director, if that makes any sense. So,
Oh, yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue with our Horror Movie Month special with King Kong.
We're millionaires, boys. I'll share it with all of you. Why, in a few months it'll be up in lights on Broadway. Kong, the eighth wonder of the world!
Wild, weird, wonderful. The stuff for which movies were made. Adventure, to make you wonder if it's true, while your eyes convince you that it is. Truly, the thrill of thrills. Don't miss it this time.
What you just heard was the original trailer for King Kong. It was directed by Marion C. Cooper and Ernest B. Shorstack. Schusdack. I think that's German. I'm not too sure. And it stars Fay Wray, Robert Armstrong, and Bruce Cabot. So this is the second part of our Halloween movie monster special. Now, Abigail, last time we reviewed Joshua, who was it? Ian Maffett and Benjamin Curley joined me to review Alien, and that was kind of the first part in our monster movie series. But are you a big fan of horror movies specifically?
I can't say that I have because I have not seen very many. I like suspense, but I wouldn't say I watch horror movies. Maybe other media that's spooky or scary, like anime or stuff like that. But I can't say that I'm a big fan of horror movies, mostly because I've never seen any.
Okay. Would well, and I kind of take that back. This is more so just monster movie than anything else. I mean, would you consider monster movies horror? I guess it just depends on.
King Kong wasn't exactly a horror movie because it was, I don't know, something about it didn't seem that horrific. It was just kind of like weird.
Well, anyway, yeah, this is your first time watching it. And this is from 1933. This is the original, the very first one that basically spawned two remakes. The one from 1976, I believe, and the Peter Jackson one in 2005. Now, just out of curiosity, have you seen the other two films?
Nope. The only thing King Kong related I've seen was a Hello Kitty parody on a DVD. That's pretty sad. But no, I've not seen the recent or the 70s one either.
Okay. So kicking off with our initial impressions, what did you think of the original King Kong?
I had low expectations going in because, come on, it just seems really hokey and weird. And in some parts it was. The technology was honestly better than I expected. It was claymation, right?
Yeah, this was early.
That was really cool. Sometimes I was like, oh, that looks a little silly, and it did at times. But there was like a scene where Kong was fighting like a dinosaur thing. I don't know if that was a dinosaur or supposed to be. But
well, yeah, that was the T-Rex.
It looked really cool. The motions were really fluid, and I was like, I couldn't do that. That is really impressive.
And to imagine this was done in a day and age, like before computers. I mean...
Yeah, in the 1930s, I was like, oh wow, that was awesome. I did think it was kind of funny how they reused some footage, like mostly of the actress. There was some footage of her being like scared or screaming that they reuse a lot, because she did scream a lot in this film.
Well, I think I would say yes, her scream at times, there was a repetitive nature with her screaming.
Well, there were times there was like a scene with her like not fainting or anything, but looking on in horror, where I could tell I'd seen that like just a few minutes prior.
Okay. I need to watch it again just to kind of see what the repetitive scenes. The things that I feel like are repetitive in this movie are her screams and the King Kong screams. But what I mean, this was your first time watching. I mean, what was just like, besides like some of the stop motion animation, what were just some of the things that just stood with you, that just astonished you, or maybe just things that just stuck with you?
Well, there was a little more character development for Anne than I thought there was going to be. She wasn't very bright at times, but you know, I can't just sit there and be, oh, she was stupid. I can't say that. But hang on a second. Sorry, there was a lot of noise going on. But I was gonna say she had a little more character development, and so did the other lead character. I don't remember his name though. Do you know who I'm thinking of?
The director, or
the guy who saved her?
Oh, Jack Driscoll.
Yeah, like I didn't even know this guy was in the movie, and it was I liked him. I liked his character, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what it was. Just like everybody was very simple.
Well, let me go ahead and start with my initial impressions. I mean, this is one of those movies that I actually watched quite a few times as a kid, and I back in Oklahoma on Saturday nights they would have this thing called this movie channel called the OETA Movie Club, and they would play like old classic movies on Saturday nights, and the one that they played a lot of was the original King Kong. And I remember just as a kid being blown away by just the technological advances, you know, the puppetry with Kong and the stop motion animation, and just the sense of pure adventure. I mean, I think this movie honestly stuck more with me than Star Wars, actually. You know, it's funny. You know, I had seen Star Wars as a little kid, and I liked Star Wars, but there was something about this movie that was just so cool. I mean, it's very much, you know, a guy movie in some ways. I mean, I don't know if it holds up in terms of modern appeal. I think honestly, you know, today's audiences would be a little bit more
cynical.
Yeah, and maybe a little would pass it under the carpet, so to speak, because it doesn't work for them in some ways. Maybe because the acting is a little silly and it's 1930s, you know, mannerisms and just, you know, over the top, and you know, I can understand that, but I think you do need to look at this and at this specific piece of history and realize this movie, I think, is very significant in so many ways. I mean, if I have to be very honest, had Peter, I don't know if you knew about this story, but this is the film that inspired Peter Jackson to become a filmmaker. And had we not had King Kong, we may not have had Lord of the Rings.
Oh wow! Yeah, I think I read about that.
Yeah, and you know, and obviously we wouldn't have gotten his remake of King Kong, which is good. But you know, you have that. I don't think you would have had Star Wars, to some degree. And I think just a lot of other popular adventure films that have been very popular throughout the decades. I guess, well, that's our initial impressions. I guess let's unless you wanted to comment on something, we could go ahead and start kind of digging a little bit deeper.
Well, I did. I was thinking that I've always been really intrigued by the 1930s and the 1940s. So any movies that were either made at that time period or based on, like, they take place in those two time periods, I just love them. So that was very cool to find out that this was made in the 1930s. It wasn't just a movie about something happening in the 1930s. That's when it was made, and that was always just really cool to me. Kind of a novelty. It was really cool.
Well, it was funny that this movie is, in this universe, that the movie does kind of take place during the Great Depression. So it's not ignoring, the events that are currently going on in history at that point in time. And I think by the 1930s, things were really, really bad during the Great Depression. I'm just trying to remember how long did the Great Depression last. I think it went from 1928 to 1940 or 1939, I think. But anyway, it's funny. I think the filmmakers and the writers specifically wanted to cement a realistic backdrop in terms of the beginning,
where she was homeless, right?
Yeah, the whole Anne.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I mean that's how Carl Denham finds her. She's an out-of-work actress, and yeah, I mean it's pretty funny. I actually like how in the Peter Jackson film it goes on. In that film, Jack Black's Carl Denham he's much more mischievous, and he's out there just trying to
Jack Black is in it?
Yeah, he.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh my!
Yes.
Now I want to see that one.
Yeah,
that
it's
ridiculous.
Long. It's 3 hours long. I mean, it's going to be a long movie. Just letting you know, but it's worth it if you like long movies. But yeah, and so the circumstances they don't swipe them under the carpet. So what did you think of Faye Reyes and Darrow? I mean, what did you think of her character?
The character herself or the acting? Or
Oh yeah, anything. Yeah, both.
The acting was a little weird at times. I don't know what it was. Just it felt really fake to me. Not that her acting was bad, but just something about it didn't sit right with me. But the character herself was really not all that great. Just she got upset a lot. I'm trying to think of anything else she did.
She screamed. I mean,
she screamed. She was scared of Kong, and she was very fascinated by the tribe they visited. She's like, I'm scared of them. She was scared a lot.
Well, I mean, it's the typical damsel in distress. I mean, that's
that's what I'm not that big of a fan of.
Okay, you don't like that whole damsel in distress thing, You like the more kick butt type of woman, I guess.
I guess just someone who doesn't just sit around moaning all the time.
Well, I mean, that was part of for the most part, the acting or the actresses that did that type of stuff, and that was kind of, and her style of acting is kind of following that silent film era of acting where
where you overact.
Yeah, you're overacting, and this is definitely coming off of that point in time when a lot of that stuff when sound was beginning to dominate Hollywood at the time, and silent movies were beginning to come more and more rare. So yeah, there is that element there. She always bugged me as a kid, and yeah, she just screams a whole lot. I mean, it's funny when watching this movie, and I guess we can kind of go ahead and talk about her relationship with King Kong. Now in the other movie, in the Peter Jackson movie, they make it a much more kind of, she has feelings for him, and he obviously has a romantic attraction to her.
Wait, really?
It's kind of played up as a romance, not as that she falls in love with him, but she's more so falling. She has sympathy, she's like she would for a pet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, so
sorry,
it's okay. And I don't think the relationship between her and Kong I mean, it's definitely just, it's natural. I mean, how do you react in this circumstance when your whole world has just been, great era, the Great Depression, and then to come to face to face with this new force of nature is scary. I mean, I don't think you would react any other way, and I don't think films at that point in time were really equipped to do the stuff that, like Peter Jackson's films did, like the much more sympathetic route, between the monster and the damsel. I mean, what did you think of the relationship between Kong and Anne specifically?
Well, I don't know how lucid they want you to believe that Kong actually is. Like I don't I don't know. Like, it's a giant ape. I don't have much sympathy for him. I don't have much sympathy for him. But it was kind of weird how he was obsessed with one person and could, like, spot her in a crowd. Like, that's weird. It's weird. It's just unsettling and kind of weird. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. I mean, he's never seen a blonde before, so...
Was that it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know, like, the backstory. At least in this universe, we don't know anything about the backstory of Kong in this particular movie. But yeah, I guess it's just because he's never interacted with any women before. I think with the black with the natives, I should say, the native women, I think he was like, I'm tired of these native women, and then he sees a blonde one, like, I love how with the stop motion animation, they give Kong these goofy expressions.
Yes. Oh my word. It was very, very interesting.
Like the moment, I don't know if it's deliberate or if it was just like the circumstances of them just, positioning the head brow and them doing these weird things with the brow, and then he's like twitching his eye. He kind of looks goofy.
He had a weird smile.
Especially like when he first sees them. You remember that part when he first comes in contact with her and they have that medium shot of him kind of loosening her ropes, and he has this weird expression.
I think so.
Yes. That is so weird. It was just so weird.
I just couldn't take it that seriously. I don't know if it's meant to be taken seriously. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, it's funny when you look at it, as I was saying earlier, I don't think it works with today's audiences. Back then, people were horrified. That's the weird part about it. People back then were horrified at this movie. And one, they hadn't seen anything like it. But here, you have this... I don't think it works with today's audiences, because I think people will not realize, like, oh, it's a puppet. That's all it is.
Claymation,
it's
yeah.
Claymation, That's all it is.
Because they know how it works, right?
Yes. Let's go ahead and talk about, I guess, the Kong, the Skull Island stuff. That's always been the highlight of the movie for me. But what did you think of the whole Skull Island aspect of the film?
Is that where, like, they were looking for Anne?
Yeah, that when they finally went looking for Anne after she was kidnapped.
It almost felt kind of repetitive at times, because they were basically, like, fighting monsters, and I don't know, it didn't look as good as the fights with the claymation objects. Like Kong fighting, like, the T-Rex or something looked cooler than the humans fighting, like, the Loch Ness Monster or something. I don't know what that was, if that was...
I think that was supposed to be a Brontosaurus, actually.
Oh, really? Because I kept thinking it was Nessie. But, I don't know, just... It got kind of tiring for me after a while. I was like, okay, they're just kind of wandering around doing stuff. Like, that wasn't my favorite part of the movie.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there, like, when did it get repetitive, I guess, is my question.
I think it was after the first dinosaur they, like, shot and killed or something. They had to shoot it, like, 100 times, and then they kept, like, fighting, I don't know.
They came to the river, and then they're all being wiped out by the Brontosaurus.
Yeah, I just, like, it felt like it was dragging on and on. I was that like the second act of the film, right?
Yeah, we're in second act. I mean, in my personal opinion, I would say the whole Skull Island chapter is the second act of the film to me.
Yeah.
But
I'm more intrigued by the characters themselves than the fighting or anything. So when there wasn't like talking going on or character development, it just like, I don't know, I wasn't that into it.
Okay. Was the did I have to always ask you this part? You remember the part when the guy is actually killed by the Brontosaurus? He goes up the tree. Which, by the way, great maneuver when you're running away from something.
I know, that was like, really?
He goes up the tree, and he's expecting the guys to come back for him. And it's like, you're running up this tree. You expect to be hidden from this thing.
Like, there weren't even that many leaves. It was just like a little... you weren't hidden. Kind of out in the open, just like hanging off, and then Kong like
deserved to get eaten, right?
What? Wait, didn't he like pick him up and eat him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen worse than Attack on Titan, but I was like, yeah, what did you think you were gonna do? You get down and you run away.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that I guess that's like some of the. I guess it's like those type of moments where I think today's audiences will definitely be taken out of the movie.
They'll be rolling their eyes.
They'll be rolling their eyes like, why is that happening?
Like, what were they thinking?
What were they thinking? Well, and that kind of leads us to the T-Rex fight. But actually, do you remember that part where after Kong rolls the sailors into the ditch? I guess that's other stuff that kind of felt repetitive, right? Just everyone being wiped out in one stroke, basically, with the...
No, that almost made it better for me, because I knew that there was, like, one guy left.
Okay.
And that made it more intriguing for me. I don't know, like, there were, like, a dozen people, and it felt weird. I don't know what it was about it, but it didn't do it for me. But, when it became that there was, like, one guy left, and he was, like, hiding from Kong, that made it more interesting for me, because there was more suspense.
Okay. You probably did not know about this, but actually originally, and many Kong fans know about this, but do you know what actually happens to the sailors after they fall into the ditch or into the ravine?
What?
Originally, what was shot was they actually all fall into this spider pit, and they actually shot. Unfortunately, it's a much sought after deleted scene. They're still trying to find it, but it's believed to be destroyed. And originally, the sailors come across some spiders and an octopus creature, and they have to fight them all off and all that stuff. But it's called the Lost Spider Pit sequence, and apparently, I heard it was really terrifying for audience.
That actually sounds awesome. Yeah, I want to see that.
Actually, I'll send you the link. But Peter Jackson actually did a remaster shot, and he was going off of like the script, and him and his production company, they did like stop motion stuff, and they had actors, and they did all this acting, and it was actually a really cool. It was actually a really cool. Little deleted remake of that deleted scene. I'll be sure to send it to
me.
Yeah. Now the Kong fight. This is something you were really raving about. What did you think of that moment?
With the Brontosaurus is what you're saying, or the T-Rex?
The T-Rex.
It just looked so cool. So I've done stop motions before, and stop motions are hard. They are really difficult. So like to see something so fluid and like extensive as that was, like they have it's hard work, and that's why I was so floored. It was really cool to just see that, and it just looked awesome for like claymation. I've seen good claymation before, but that in like a 1930s film, I was like, oh wow, this is actually really awesome.
It's it's very fluid.
Yeah,
animation. That's another thing too. It was funny because when Joshua showed me some of like Spirited Away and those kind of anime films, you know, I was just absolutely floored by the fluidity of the animation. And this is just another example, even though this is stop motion, it's just wonderfully done. And just the, the funny thing though is that the filmmakers actually watched like a lot of boxing, footage, surprisingly.
Really? And they like modeled it after that?
Something like that, yeah. It was like after like a lot of boxing matches, and it's even cool because even Kong throws a couple little punches. It wasn't just like
I noticed that.
It wasn't like this grapple and it was like they were just he punched him and he also gnawed him and all that stuff. I mean, it was brutal. And then the one part is when he breaks the jaw. That was that for a 1930s film, that was actually pretty unnerving. That's a really, nerving moment right there. Like, ugh. Did that kind of get you right there?
No, I don't know. I was just so floored by the animation that I was just like, I didn't care if they ripped each other's heads off. It still would have looked cool.
And so then you get into all that stuff, and then you have and then he has the little confrontation with the snake, actually. But what did you? And then you have the whole rescue sequence, which was kind of weird when Bruce Cabot or Jack finally rescues. And I've got to ask you this: what did you think of Jack Driscoll, the character?
Just his character in general.
Yeah, and maybe even the actor. I
liked the actor. The actor reminded me of the guy on Adam 12, Kent something. You know who I'm talking about, right?
What was the name of the show? What was the name of the movie again that you said?
It reminds me of the guy on Adam 12, which is a TV show in the 70s.
Okay.
So that was really interesting. I was like, hey, it looks like the guy on Adam 12. So that was cool for me to begin with. He just looks similar. Like, they're not the same person, I know that, but they just looked similar. So I was like, okay. But I feel like I've met people, like, who have similar traits to Jack. So I was kind of like, just comparing him to other people I know. Just like his cynicism, like, it really resonated. I was like, I know where this guy is coming from. Maybe not in everything, but he was a bit more relatable than Anne.
But, I don't know what it is. I have the actor by the name is Bruce Cabot, and you may have seen him in a couple, like, John Wayne movies. Like, he's done, like, a lot of, like, tough guy roles. Those type of things. Angel.
Yeah, it seems like he could.
Yeah, he does. He did a lot of movies with John Wayne, and
did you know I'm related to John Wayne? Like my grandfather is.
Oh, which side?
I think he's cousins. My mom's grandfather, or my mom's father, I believe, is related to John Wayne somehow.
Why haven't you met the Wayne family yet?
I don't know. I do not know.
You haven't inherited any money or anything like that. That's wrong. I mean, how could...
Come on.
Like, which side of Wayne are you related?
I gotta ask my mom and find out. I'll let you know when I find out more. That would be an interesting topic to go over.
Yes, that would be.
Yeah, Joshua knows more than I do about it, but I know for sure we're related.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Bruce Cabot. I've got to be very honest. He was my least of the three leads. I think he's my least favorite because he doesn't seem to be in it. Like just the acting wise, he doesn't really seem to be. He just seems to be like, I'm just going off of lines and maybe adding a little bit of drama there, but it just feels like he's either he's bored or he doesn't. When I look at him and Carl Denham, the actor plays Robert Armstrong who plays Carl Denham, I can just tell he is eating it up.
Oh yeah. He's just chewing the scenery. Like, he's gonna milk this role for all it's worth. But with the guy who played Jack, like, I almost think that worked in where his character was concerned, because he was just like supposed to be like somebody who didn't care or who's really tough and doesn't get attached to people, doesn't like people. So where you were saying he seemed bored, I think that almost worked for him.
To his favor, to the favor.
To the character's favor. Yes.
Yes, and that's true. I mean, and that's true. But it's funny. I guess he's more vulnerable when women are around. I guess maybe. Well, I mean, I would say that he's probably been around other women before.
Well, we could make up a tragic backstory where, like, his sister died or something, or someone close to him died and he couldn't save them, and, like, make up something to make it a little better.
Yes.
I'm always coming up with stuff like that.
Oh, no, I mean, that's the fun part about this movie. It's up to interpretation, where these characters' backgrounds and where they come from, and I think
that's what is really fun about movies like this, where they don't spell everything out for you. It's just like some basic story that you can like.
Mm-hmm. And you have like Carl Denham. We haven't even talked about Carl Denham yet. I mean, we just talked about it a little bit, but I actually read somewhere that he's actually good friends, or he was good friends. He's dead. He was really good friends with the director Marion C. Cooper, and he was kind of part of that, circle, so to speak. And I could just tell that he's just enjoying this role, and he definitely has that eagerness, that boy-like wonder.
Oh yeah, he was excited to be in this movie. I could tell.
Yeah, and they even also like when they're at the native camp. He's there. And he's like, holy mackerel, what a show,
I know, that was awesome. I was like, yeah, I guess so. Guess it's a show. I'd be terrified, but
and then he's pulling up the camera, making himself noticeable.
Yeah, I know.
But, yeah, he just has this wide-eyed, childlike playfulness about him, and I think that kind of, helps the character, massively right there.
He just seemed like a creep at the beginning. I was like, he just seemed so obsessed with making movies. Like, I don't know. It's hard to sympathize or empathize with characters who get obsessed with their dreams, I guess. Well, like, it's admirable that he enjoys making movies and he'll go to such extent to make it happen. But, like, where he puts other people in danger, that's where I draw the line, just with character motivation.
Did you sense that maybe he was a heartless person?
Not exactly, but like, if it was a choice between saving movie footage, like if his movie footage was about to drop off the cliff, and so was his partner, he would save the movie footage.
It's funny you mentioned that. That's exactly what happens in the King Kong remake. Literally.
Are you kidding? Literally?
Literally.
His movie footage is dropping off a cliff.
Yes.
I just made that up, and like,
I've seen that movie so many times, and just the fact that you're just saying this stuff is like, oh my gosh, you just said it verbatim without even knowing what really happened.
Oh, like, oh my word, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How cheesy is that?
Do you want me to
just hammer it in? Just hammer it in.
Do you want me to lend? I'll lend you the Peter Jackson movie next time I see you. So I'll lend it to you.
Okay. I may watch a bit of it, but yeah, like, oh my word, that is hilarious.
But yeah, it's funny, watching this and then looking at the Jack Black performance, because Jack Black throughout the whole entire movie is just a cold-hearted individual. I mean, he has some sympathy here and there, but it's more so, let's make this movie. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Let's use anybody to... What?
Let's be rich, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Well, for me, it wasn't so much about this guy, like, he wanted to make money. It was that he enjoyed making films.
In this interpretation?
Yeah, that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, in this one, in the King Kong, or the Peter Jackson one, this is his life, this is who he is, and it's either this or nothing, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make it a reality, and if there are casualties, I don't really care. Here, you can see that, yeah, he wants to make movies, but he's not cold. I don't think he's cold-hearted.
No, I think he's a passionate person.
Yeah.
It was more about him being passionate about filmmaking than greed.
Do you see him more so as the hero of this movie, or do you see Jack Driscoll, the hero?
I don't remember what he did in this movie. Like, I think he called the planes to save her.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jack was more of the hero because he went on the excursion or whatever to save Anne. Like, but the director, I'm trying to remember everybody's names. I only just saw this movie today, but the director like stayed on the boat. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think of Jack as more of the hero.
Well, I mean,
because,
he went along.
You know what I'm saying.
Well, he went along on the rescue party to rescue Anne. They got as far as the log, and then they had to split. He had to go back to the captain.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'd forgotten that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
At least he made the effort.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I'm just trying to think of what else was there anything else on Skull Island before we get to New York? Was there anything like anything else with Skull Island that kind of stood out to you?
Not really. I just really liked the different shots in this movie, like the shots on Skull Island with like the tribe and in like the fights and stuff. It just was really cool to watch. This was a movie that was cool to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some movies are just beautiful, like animation. This was just interesting to watch.
Yeah. Let's talk about like the whole village attack before we go into New York, because that scene, I think, with a modern audience, would get a lot of controversy, if you know what I mean. So the village attack sequence.
Is this when Khan came back?
Yeah. This is like before they gas him, and he breaks through the gate. The
and there's like children on the ground, like crying.
Yeah, and then he eats natives and all that stuff.
Why would there be controversy, do you think? Is it the depiction of this tribe?
The depiction of the tribe, I think mainly because just the sight of
people being eaten?
Well, I think it's just this low class of native, I want to say native, I was going to say Native Americans, of these African people, I should say black people. And I'm not being racial, people. This is just something that I think has been specifically commented before in history, and
there's a lot of stereotyping going on. I get it.
Yeah. But I think also back then in the 1930s, there was a lot of stereotypes. I mean,
it was really.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot. Like they look at the old Disney cartoons.
But if you
Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, go ahead.
There's also a movie called what's it called? Birth of a Nation, and they have they depict African Americans in there in a very immoral light, and they make them look like animals, and in a very very rude and evil fashion that I wasn't really too keen on. But here, I think people today, specifically of that race, would have problems with it because it's. I think people would view it as a disregard or just
stereotypical.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess it's just the times that we live in. People would just react to this scene a little more. I mean, were you kind of shocked at some of the stuff that happened in the village sequence?
Not really. I feel like I've seen something similar in like other movies, so I was just kind of like, this is the 1930s. It wasn't that shocking for me.
Well, I mean, and like the scenes where he basically eats a guy, he devours a guy in his mouth. Well,
I didn't see any gore. So
well, there's no gore, but it was shocking at the time. I mean, he basically, you have you saw the shot where he puts that one native into his mouth and he's biting down on him, and obviously there's not going to be any rips and tears and all that stuff, but it is still shocking. It was shocking.
It's a monster that eats people. That's pretty scary.
But also just the fact that he also throws one guy down and he just stomps him on the ground.
I missed that.
Oh, really? Okay, because I don't know what cut you saw. Did you watch it on Netflix or something like that?
I found it on I just searched for it and I found a stream of it somewhere. I don't know, maybe that happened and I wasn't watching close enough.
Okay. Because a lot of those scenes, those are scenes that got a lot of controversy as well. Those scenes were actually cut out in like later re-releases during
Maybe that's what I saw.
In the 40s and 50s because of the code era. There was a code in the movie industry at the time, which we could definitely use nowadays, but yeah, a lot of those scenes were cut because a lot of people were offended by that, and people saw it as very brutal. But yeah, I mean, so your cut didn't have those moments. Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, I did see people getting bitten in half, but I don't remember anybody being stomped on. Maybe I just missed it.
Okay, yeah, there is a moment like that. I think there's twice. It happens twice. And then we get to King Kong is drugged. Carl Denham throws the gas bombs, and they, oddly enough, manage to lift him up, get him on the boat, and take him all the way to New York City.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see how they managed that.
Did not happen. And even in the Peter Jackson version, they don't even show what happens either.
They're just like, nope, we did it. We're not going to waste our time showing that.
It's even funny.
That's a big deal.
Well, it's funny, like, you know, I think even Carl Denham even suggests, we'll take him onto the ship, we'll take him to New York, you know, we'll put him on a raft. It's like, how are you going to make a raft to sustain the weight of this animal?
I know, right? It's just like, it was very weird. I was like, okay then, I guess we're going straight to New York.
And then we get to New York, and then you have the whole rampage sequence.
Well, like, did he honestly think King Kong wouldn't break out of those chains? Like, really?
Here's the interesting thing, though. In this movie, you're not too sure if he's domesticated or not, or you know, if Carl Denham has tried to tame him or something like that. I think there is some dialogue about that, but I'm not too sure. In the King Kong one, or in the Peter Jackson version, I should say, that one is actually slightly domesticated. Mainly because he has a broken heart and his spirit is out of him. You know, he's no longer in his, you know, in his country, so to speak, or in his dwelling place. You know,
his land.
His land. He's no longer in his cave or anything like that. He's now in the midst of modern technology, so to speak. But that moment, I mean, did you think? What was just going through your mind, like when you saw the him in the theater? It's like, okay, somehow or another, he's gonna get out of those chains, right?
Yeah, for one thing, they looked really weak, but I just was thinking of the practicality of it all. Like, one, doesn't it smell bad in that theater? Like, is that really weird to think about? Like, the people are like, oh, it's gonna be like a puppet, or they were saying how it was like a movie. And it was like, no, it's not. It's a real thing. But I'm like, wouldn't the people know it? Wouldn't they smell?
Oh my gosh.
Is that like the highlight of the podcast? I'm thinking that, like,
I've never thought about that before.
Are you good, Chris? Are you okay?
Yes. They must have given him a good scrub. If he was, they must have tranquilized him or something like that. Scrubbed him in a big tub or something.
Yeah, but I was like, you know.
Or is this?
Yeah, let's not get into all of that. But
like, maybe the smell is like, well, did he do his business back there?
Yeah, I'm like, you know, the practicality of it all. Like, how long does he want this exhibition to go? Like, how is he going to feed him?
I just thought of a perfect scenario.
Yes.
When the airplanes are trying to find him, they all they have to find are these stinky piles of something.
Yeah, let's just.
And then they see all these flies, like, okay, he's that way.
That's a very interesting scenario, Chris. Good job. Very pleasant.
Anyway, so yeah, we get to the
planes were cool.
What was that again?
The planes were cool.
Oh my gosh, like, you see that on the posters. I mean, that's like the Empire State sequence. I mean,
that was awesome.
Another amazing feat of stop motion animation right there.
Wait, were the planes stop motion?
Yes, I think
What?
some of them. There were some shots where they used real planes.
Yeah.
Others were stop motion, and other ones I think were just miniature, electronic
I
planes.
couldn't even think of that. I thought they were all just shots of real planes, except for like when they showed him close to Kong. Obviously, those were stop motion, but still.
Yeah, those were stop. Like the ones with King Kong in the shots, those were stop motion. But there's
Also, yes, speaking of stop motion, anytime he picked Anne up and she immediately turned into stop motion claymation, I just laughed. It just looked so unnatural.
I know it is. It was kind of weird. Like those were some moments that really kind of stood out to me. Like, that doesn't hold up. But it's the 30s. What else could you do at the time?
Yeah, for the 30s, that's really great, but it's just still kind of like, heh.
Did you see the moment when he grabs Anne? Like, I think it was like the final time he grabs her. He actually grabs her upside down and he flips her.
Yeah, I was like, wait, how'd you do that? Did you, like...
He just flipped it over like a pencil.
It was so funny. I was like, okay then.
He just should have thrown her in the air, just grabbed her by the waist.
For real.
But yeah, we get to that famous sequence and, Kong's dead. I mean...
He just kind of slumped over, and then they showed the shot of him, like, falling off of the building.
Yeah. Do you have... Did you have any sympathy? Like, I don't think I asked you this, but did you ever feel like any sympathy towards Kong throughout this film?
Wasn't enough character development. I don't know how much character development you can do for Kong, but, like, there was, like, no rational reason for him stalking this lady. He didn't, like when he had her, he just kind of walked around with her. He didn't do anything. He just kind of, like, enjoyed holding her in his hand. Like, I don't know. But, so no, I didn't have any sympathy.
He just enjoyed
because he didn't sit her down. Yeah, like, he just wanted to, like, walk around with her. Like, if I want to, let's say I wanted to take a pen from somebody, or, like, and I don't use it, I just walk around with it, because I like to walk around with it. That doesn't make any sense.
I guess not.
I don't know what he would do. I'm just like, what's he doing over here?
Disturbing. We didn't talk about this, but he kind of gets a little flirtatious with Anne. He begins to, like, tear her clothes off on Skull Island, and I like the music at that moment. By the way, we haven't even talked about the music.
The music was awesome.
Oh yeah, buy the soundtrack, everybody. If you can find like an original recording, get it. It's worth it. It's a fantastic score.
Yeah, my favorites like the soundtrack, just soundtracks in general, when they, like, play horns or strings, like when somebody's walking, like dun 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 dun. I think that's so cool. I just love that effect where, like, it was just so cool. But yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I mean,
I'm done. I'm just thinking of what you were going with.
Well, I really enjoyed, like, the drumming, like in the native parts. Like dun 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 dun.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Dun dun dun. And like even like the Kong theme song. Like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I need to get my hands on the soundtrack, but yeah, but back to, like, the sympathy of Kong. I don't think you sense his sympathy. You get the sympathetic nature of him from his emotions, like when he ever gives these expressions of sadness. Those are the moments where I'm like, oh, the poor thing. I mean, even though it's a puppet, you still feel, and even it's a puppet, it's still like, oh. He doesn't really have a chance, he doesn't, poor creature, I mean, he doesn't...
Yeah, like, when he was on the roof getting shot up and he was just kind of, like, giving up, I was like, that's where I felt sympathy, kind of. But,
yeah.
Like, he was already dead, basically.
Yeah. I mean, throughout the movie, you're just kind of, you kind of maybe like the playful nature of him at times, especially,
just
like...
a little.
Yeah, there's very, like, when he's playing with Anne. I mean, I don't want to get into that, but...
Yeah.
But I do love those moments, and I think that's where the human aspect of Kong kind of comes out. And I think that's where Peter Jackson really says, okay, I'm going to take those parts, I'm going to expand on that in my version, because in the Peter Jackson King Kong version, much more sympathetic. You
really?
kind of get, and you even get some hints of who he is as a character and where he comes from, and maybe the traumas that he's faced in his life. But it's interesting when looking at this, of course, this ending, and actually looking and splitting the movies into two halves. It's interesting how you have mankind coming across nature, and it's man against nature in the first act, but then in the last half it's all about nature against the future or the present. You know what I mean? Because there's an interesting contrast between the two, that even though I guess in a way the world that we know is changing, and the 30s was a massive decade of change. The progressions with automobiles, massive, war instruments, all these different things were coming. Did you kind of get that? Was that something that kind of stood out to you?
The technological advances?
Well, in terms of how the second half was about man versus man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I totally got that. Like the airplanes and just like all the buildings, it was a totally different environment.
Okay. Well, and then you get the ending where it's funny,
there was a weird quote at the end. I don't remember the quote.
Yeah, the quote was this, they asked him, the airplanes got him. No, it was Beauty who killed the Beast.
I didn't get that exactly.
Well, I think...
Is it like where somebody loved her so much that he died for her? Is that what it was, you think?
I think that's what he was trying to get at. It was... What really killed him was his love for her in a weird way, like his own...
His obsession.
I'm going to say it's love, because an ape, probably hasn't seen a woman in a long time anyway. But anyway, so yeah, you could, and in also in a weird way, you could even say he dies of a broken heart as well. He's in this world that he doesn't understand, and...
Oh, great, now you're making me sad.
Oh, good! This is what I'm trying to do, manipulate you and make you...
No! I could just walk out right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you.
No, go ahead.
No, but yeah, I think that's what it was. I think in the end, the movie was trying to say that, yes, the future, the present, the technologies of today may have stopped him, but in reality, it was his human side that destroyed him, if that makes any sense. The emotional aspect. I think that's... if there was a message in this movie, what do you think the message was? I know that may sound like a hard question for you to ask you. But...
Don't go on a cruise with strangers. No, I'm joking. I'm not exactly sure, because there's not really, a message to, something to be learned from this exactly. It's just kind of a story about people who, things happen.
Yes.
Things happen in this movie. But I almost think it would be with, Denim, I think was his name. Mm-hmm. Where he was so obsessed with, his dream that he, hurt other people in it. That's not really the story. There was no real resolution, but that's what I get out of it. Don't do that.
Yeah. And they did make a sequel, Son of Kong, and you actually find out what happens to Denim, but, I don't recommend it.
Is this the same actors?
Yes. Actually, only he comes back. Some of the other supporting characters. It's called Son of Kong. Don't watch it. It's not really that good.
Okay, I won't.
Don't watch it.
I won't.
If you want to watch it for the animation, there is some good stuff, but it's absolutely
terrible.
Terrible. It's just such a childish playmate compared to this Big Daddy. But anyway, that's gonna do it for King Kong. So with our closing thoughts here, what are your closing thoughts on King Kong? Do you recommend it?
I liked it. I really did. I didn't have very good expectations. It's kind of silly. It's kind of hokey. It's obviously pretty old. But I liked watching it. I had fun. I liked a lot of the dialogue. I did like some of the acting, not all of the acting. And the animation, the stop motion was really cool to watch. So basically it's just like kind of like, I like it, but as a piece of history, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it's not something I would like go out of my way to watch. But I think it just is really cool for what it is.
Okay. I mean, would it be a movie that you would show to your friends or maybe your family members, something like that?
Oh yeah, for fun. It'd be more of like watch for fun and see like for the novelty of it. But it wouldn't be something like, hey, this is my favorite movie ever, check it out. Because like it has a simple story. It's really just overall a pretty simple movie, I think I could say. But I think that's part of the charm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I mean, I check out Kong. I mean, this is a piece of filmmaking history. This is a movie that also set the standard for the future monster movies, I would say. I mean, at this point in time, you had Bride of Frankenstein, you had you had Frankenstein, you had Dracula, but I think this was like the first one with like the big, monster movies that were 25, monsters that were 25 feet high and bigger than that. Godzilla, all these other monster movies that came out. But yeah, check it out, people. It's a great film. It's definitely one you could watch on a Sunday or Saturday night and just sit back and just enjoy it. It's just so much fun. Yeah, it's, as you said, it's fun. And maybe it will inspire some filmmakers in your family. It's just so much fun to watch. Anyway, that will be it for our review of the original King Kong. Abigail, thank you very much. You were actually this was actually a lot of fun.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
No, it was. You weren't like, oh my gosh, this was a piece of crap. What the heck was this? You kind of saw it and probably even to some degree appreciated it for what it was. You had some problems with it, which is natural, because this movie I think has some problems on a narrative and a technical level, but it's you did a great job. And
I didn't trash it. I didn't trash the movie. That's what you're happy about, right?
No. What I was just like, I'm just really happy that you enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
You were just like, oh my gosh, what the heck was this? Anyway, so thank you very much, Abigail, for joining me tonight on this episode of Story to Screen. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Audiences, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter. You can also find us on iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a review on iTunes, and check out our past episodes there. You can also send in your questions and requests to this email address at s2spodcast@gmail.com. Were you going to say something, Abigail?
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Oh my word. I was going to say request a whole bunch of Studio Ghibli films so I can be on those podcasts. Please, people. I want to do Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah, we'll be happy. We haven't really done Miyazaki any more of those. I've been wanting to do more of them.
Which ones have you done?
We've only done Porco Rosso. I wanted to do Spirited Away.
Yes.
But we haven't gotten to it yet. But we'll definitely be happy to do that sometime.
Yeah, that one, and the other I would suggest would be Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay.
Did you like that movie?
I did.
Yes, we should do a podcast on that because I love Miyazaki films so much.
Okay. We'll definitely try to do that sometime. Anyway, audience, our next reviews will be... I'm not too sure what we're doing next, but definitely up next in terms of our J.J. Abrams retrospective series is Star Trek from 2009. We're going to be doing that. Have you seen the 2009 Star Trek film?
Yeah, my mom loves it. I have seen it several times.
Okay, we'll be sure to have you on for that one.
Sweet.
So, and also, we'll be continuing our Star Wars commentaries leading up to The Force Awakens with Return of the Jedi with James Caan very soon. So look for that in the near future. Audiences, again, thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night. Cheers.
Yep, see you later.
The airplanes got him. Oh, no. It wasn't the airplanes. It was beauty killed the beast.